Hi, everybody. This is Sue Heal from Melody Music Co-op, and it is almost 2025. I cannot believe it that we're only one day away from a new year. And I wanted to just hop on here and continue my teacher series. I opened my first studio in my home in 2006. So I am in my 19th year of teaching, and I have had over 4,500 kids that have attended either my home studio, one of my larger commercial studios, or are currently seeing one of my teachers that come to their homes. And so I'm at this point in my career now where I'm thinking about legacy, my legacy, and leaving behind, as I head into the last part of my career, all the things that I've learned to help other teachers be able to build their businesses. I really don't care about money anymore. Don't care. What I care about is that as many kids as possible learn piano, because I think it is so valuable for them. It stimulates their brain. It stimulates their creativity. It gives them an outlet for expressing their emotions. And it helps them learn how to be disciplined. It helps them learn performance skills and not being afraid to get in front of people. I cannot stress enough the importance of performance. If you have a studio yourself and you're not doing recitals, shame on you. You need to do performances as much as you possibly can. So I want to focus this video on the value of teaching in homes. I have witnessed some really significant shifts in the piano lessons market during the time that I've been teaching here in my community in the Seattle, Washington area. When I first began teaching in 2006 and I was in my home, I would go to like meetups and teacher groups of different piano teachers around the area. And I can definitely say that the vast majority of the teachers were women, and almost all of us taught in our homes. So, even if you go all the way back to the 1700s, 1800s, 1900s, early 1900s, and even up until like 1980, even, okay, almost always piano lessons occurred in the home of either the student in the older days, or in the 20th century, there was really a large number of women in the community who would open up their home and teach piano lessons. I mean, come on, raise your hand. If when you were a kid in the 60s or the 70s or the 80s or even the 90s, and when you were taking piano lessons, you probably went to some lady's house in your neighborhood, right? Yeah, that's just the way it was. And it wasn't until the 2000s when I was starting to teach that I started to notice commercial studios popping up here and there, but there weren't very many. And then around 2011 is when I moved my school out of my house. And at the time I did, there was only one commercial studio in my city of about 90,000 people. There were probably a few in the larger suburb of Seattle that's near me called Bellevue. And honestly, I don't really know what the market is in Seattle, or was, because I am not paying attention to that, like in Seattle proper. But I'm assuming that most, major cities like Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, okay, they all probably have lots and lots of commercial studios, just because that's probably a little more common there. But in the suburbs, I think it's still pretty common, at least until about 15 years ago, for most parents to take their kids to the home of a teacher. Okay, then the next thing I knew, there were like 6 commercial studios in my community. I know when I moved out of my house, we grew from 110 students and 2 teachers to 250 students and 7 teachers within like 8 months. And it was just because we were so visible all of a sudden. And I started noticing I wasn't hearing nearly as much about teachers teaching in their homes anymore. And commercial studios were popping up right and left all over the community where my school was. And that has been the case over the past like decade or so, maybe 12, 13 years. However, in the last like 3 or 4 years, since COVID especially, I've noticed a really dramatic market shift again. And this shift is a lot of parents like the teacher to come to their home. I think it has to do with people getting so used to being home during COVID. They started like having everything in their life be out of their home. And a lot of people, at least in my area, are still working from home because we have so many of the tech industries here. And so, they're just like everything in their life is at home. And then I also think that during COVID, a lot of people got used to not driving and, doing everything online. So I do know that like throughout school, especially the online lessons are really popular, and lots of kids take lessons online. That's definitely not my favorite format because I think there's a lot of things that need to happen with me, like actually touching the hands of my students or clapping rhythms with them. There's a lot of reasons why I'm not a big fan of online music lessons. But I do think that there is a shift that has happened since COVID. And I'm starting to see some of the commercial studios around me closing now. They just don't have enough business because the parents they don't want to take the time to take the kids into lessons. So as a teacher, I can tell you that since I shifted my business to teaching in homes a couple years ago, I have tripled my income. And that's because I'm not paying rent anymore to have a commercial space. And I also don't have to worry about people coming to my house. I have 2 dogs. I have 3 kids. So the only reason why I was able to make that work before was because I had like an old apartment in the back of my house, and I was able to have my studio be completely separate from my house. But a lot of music teachers that teach in their homes have like really, really weird stuff going on. They have pets and their house is dirty. I hear all kinds of nightmares from my students who go meet other teachers for like violin or whatever. So don't do that. Don't do that. It's not very professional. Okay. I will do some more in this series of like my hints and tips for working in people's homes. But the purpose of this video is to encourage you to start your own school because I know you can do it. And I want to see every single kid in every single block in every single community in America doing piano lessons. I don't want to have anyone that I meet on OutSchool tell me that the reason why they're on OutSchool is because they don't have any teachers locally, okay? Every single community has people that can very easily teach piano and should be. All right, so that's my encouragement. I promise you, it's good money. It's good money. I'm going to cross 6 figures this year just from my own teaching in homes. And that does not even include the other teachers that work for me. That's just my business alone. And there's no way I made even remotely close to that when I had a commercial studio. So you can do it.